Our project is about people, their communities and their neighbourhoods, but most importantly about the children of Amsterdam and their health and well-being. Our focus is on the epidemic of obesity and how it relates to food and exercise patterns and cultures amongst the young. We note that the Netherlands has lower rates of obesity than the OECD average, but also that obesity is a rapidly growing problem. Why is it, we ask, that the Netherlands, with its grand tradition of public health policy and practice, is finding this issue such a hard nut to crack? We went into the neighbourhoods where people live and attempted to gain a sense of what young people see every day, what they do, what they eat, and how and where they play. Obesity is abnormal or excessive fat accumulation that presents a risk to health. It's a case of the gap between energy in and energy out, and it's linked to 60 chronic illnesses such as diabetes, high blood pressure and cancer. In the last 2 decades, the obesity rate in the Netherlands has doubled, and it represents a major challenge for the community and its politicians.
Statistics reveal that 1 in 4 of Amsterdam's children under the age of 5 were overweight in 2011. Even while traditional Dutch snacks are unimaginably generous on the calorie scale, it is still shocking that only 1% of children are eating recommended portions of daily vegetables.
I think that the awareness under the younger people and the teenagers who visit our center is really low. So when they stop by or when I see them walking in the neighborhood, I see them walking by with a passive bag of chips or some soda, cola and stuff like that. And I don't think that they are aware of the consequences of drinking stuff like that or eating chips.
Where does this awareness begin in a country where children carry lunchboxes from home to school every day? 94.3% of Amsterdam's school principals assert that their schools follow a food policy. But parents complain that the recommendations outlined in them remain vague. What is a healthy cookie? How will my child's food stay hot? But among a dozen excuses, our favorite remains, but the cheese in a lunchbox gets so soggy.
Our project involved 2 elements: mapping the city and advocating for change in the district of Osdorp. Firstly, our mapping. To the city's primary schools we went, collecting information on playgrounds and exercise opportunities, green and open spaces, and food messages and outlets. We tried to see, feel, hear and smell as local children do. There were no formal consultations, but where possible, local residents were asked about their attitudes and perceptions. The aim here was to line up our discoveries alongside other information that has been collected, such as socio-economic characteristics, and see if patterns could be found.
Number 1. Playground programming. Equipment. Open. Closed. Maintain. Rundown. Busy. Quiet. Litter. Art. Colors. Number 2. Accessibility, mobility. Bus stop. Tram stop. Parking spaces. Bike racks. Number 3. Proximity to food. Snack bar. Supermarket. Healthy option. Shopping center. Number 4. Nature of advertising. Colors. Characters. Language and position. We developed a series of indexes trying to categorize the 100 of primary schools we visited based on 3 major benchmarks: the proximity to playgrounds, shops or supermarkets, and transport hubs. Further, we assessed the environments around the schools in relation to ease of a child's access to junk food, availability of play infrastructure, safety of a child in relation to transport and community centers, kitchen gardens, and healthy food options. We then zoomed into school number 29 to investigate the area of Osdorp in more detail.
Our advocacy for a campaign in Osdorp, a district already identified as one with high rates of obesity. To Osdorp we went, collecting more detailed information on its history and features as a residential area, its social and ethnic makeup, its urban form and its internal functioning as a community?
Yes, I'm a project manager in this area, and we're trying with occupants from the neighborhood to encourage schools, parents and students to eat better, more fitness, and also try to learn them how to prepare food in a proper way, more healthy.
Osdorp is multicultural and regarded as an area needing special help because of social and economic disadvantage.
So what you should do is have to convince the school leaders that say mens sana in corpore sano, so you have a healthy child and a healthy body, and then it can learn better.
And another thing is, we asked them, are you doing the dishes together with your mom? And then they said, no, we don't do the dishes. We throw away our plates. They're plastic, so we throw them away. So yeah, we thought, what kind of food culture is this in this neighborhood?
Designing a strategy for action in a community like Osdorp is not like writing on a blank sheet of paper. There are individuals and groups focused on obesity, such as Luca's community and the beach. There is a community garden, plenty of playgrounds and green spaces, a major sports complex and an annual food festival. Our view was, let's not start anew, but let's build on the assets that already exist. We proposed a whole of community approach that links together the existing players. We proposed a communication plan based on a monthly lift out in a local free paper, which we said could be called something like Osdorp, Eat Better and Move More. Also, we created interesting activities that youngsters could engage in and that would interest them in the issue of obesity.
We have approached this with 3 scales of intervention. At the small scale, with experimental play, running a series of energetic eating and moving activities.
The kids of Osdorp want to see their friends going for the healthy snacks. They want food to be cool. So for them, if everything was available and accessible, like fruits and veggies, nicely cut up and cleaned up, placed in front of you at a playground, then why wouldn't you want to eat healthy? The kids want to make the good choices about food. We just have to give them the opportunity to make that choice. Kids want to be able to pick delicious, healthy foods. We just have to make it easy for them.
If the children aren't going to you, go to them. And then scaling up, we have initiated a Kickstarter campaign for a rickshaw named Mr. Wheelie, whose many activities include healthy snack kiosk, meals on wheels, or perhaps even evolve into furniture to build, dine and play. And finally, our larger vision incorporates recommendations to drive food policy reform and a speculative spatial reorganisation of Osdorp.
The city is a socio-ecological system. The city is an organism to fight obesity. The scenario wants to visualize and promote a new constructive debate for spatial structure based on existing assets, reclaiming and retrofitting public spaces through community participation, social cohesion, and entrepreneurship.
It's clear that policymakers can no longer afford to see obesity as just a health issue, whose consequences are managed by the health system. It's a social, an economic and an environmental issue, requiring joined-up government and whole-of-community initiatives. Top-down won't work without bottom-up, and bottom-up won't work without local networks and empowerment. Our conclusion: obesity prevention will need its politicians to set the agenda, its entrepreneurs to show that there is another way to produce and to live, and its local activists to drive change. Our children deserve no less.